Deacon Ron on the altar here with me, and we have other deacons here, Deacon Fred, I see him in the distance, and Deacon Mike, and Rose, and Deacon Fred and Maureen, and Deacon Ron and Barbara. So all of them have been involved with Tom and Mary Ann. So we're happy that they're here, and we're happy with our altar server, Alia. So but to say that the deepest longing of the human heart is to belong. That is the deepest longing of the human heart. We all long to belong. And we will not be fully satisfied until we feel we completely belong. Recently I was visiting Tom and Mary Ann for an Irish stew done the Italian way. But Tom showed me a book that he was reading. It was written by an Irish author, John O'Donoghue. The name of the book was Anam Cara. The book was very popular when it first came out. It's still very popular. But Anam Cara is the Gaelic language, the Irish language, and it means soul friend. And Tom read me one line there from the book that really spoke to him. He said, a soul friend is somebody in whom your heart can be at home. So when you discover a soul friend, you discover somebody in whom your heart can be at home. And Tom felt that that's what he discovered when he discovered Mary Ann. And I'm sure Mary Ann, in discovering Tom, discovered somebody in whom her heart can be at home. Because we all want to belong. And when we feel we belong, we relax. And that's why we have our families. Because we all long to belong. We long to be together, to have each other, to be able to call each other. So Tom feels that Mary Ann, in a very special way, is satisfying his longing to belong. And Mary Ann feels that in a special way, Tom is satisfying her longing to belong. But the truth is, no human being is capable of fully satisfying our longing to belong. And I think that's why sometimes there's a problem in marriages. Maybe the couples, the parties, expect too much from each other. Because no human being can satisfy my longing to belong. And no human being can fully satisfy any other human being's longing to belong. Because St. Augustine said it very well. He said, my soul longs for rest, and it will not rest in God. It will not rest until it rests in God. So again, the point being, human beings, we help to satisfy that longing to belong in a very special way, but we don't help to satisfy it completely. Only God can satisfy it completely. On Wednesday mornings at 6 o'clock, I go over to the Adoration Chapel. We have an Adoration Chapel here in the parish. I spent an hour over there from 6 to 7, or a little after 7. We as Catholics believe in the Eucharist. We believe that the bread that we distribute at Mass is the body of Christ. We believe the wine that we distribute at Mass is the blood of Christ. And we have the bread in the tabernacle here in the Adoration Chapel, where we believe the bread is the body of Christ. We believe that in the Eucharist, Christ is present in a divine way and in a human way. We believe that in the Eucharist, Christ is present as he was present when he walked the fields of Galilee. We believe that that's why he left us the Eucharist, so that his human presence could continue as well as his divine presence. So we have the Adoration Chapel, where we go and spend time in silence. And the Adoration Chapel here is open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and people are over there in silent prayer because they believe Christ is there in a very special way, in a physical way, in a human way, in a divine way. And at a deep level, that's where our longing to belong will be fully satisfied. So Mary Ann is over there Wednesday morning, 6 to 7. And even though she knows she has found the man who will help her heart to feel it belongs, she also goes to somebody that she feels is going to satisfy that longing totally. And that's Christ in the Eucharist. And so I'm over there watching Mary Ann, and she's over there watching me, and we're both very silent. And we're both trying to satisfy our longing to belong. And that's what prayer is about. Because God created us. We came from God. It's like the child coming from the womb. The child longs to go back to the womb. So our longing to belong is in our hearts. And as humans, we help to meet it in a certain way, but only God can meet it completely. And I think Tom and Mary Ann, they have great faith. Both of them have great faith. And that's a tremendous strength. And it's going to be a great strength in their marriage. They're here every Sunday morning at the 10 o'clock Mass. Mary Ann has been involved in this parish for years. She's involved in so many ways, volunteering. And Tom is very involved in retreat work, the Cursillo movement. So they found each other. And they found each other because of their involvement in parish life. Mary Ann does great work in working on annulments, marriage annulments, and somehow that's how she ran into Tom. So they're here today, and they know well that their deepest longing to belong can only be satisfied by God. But in the meantime, each will satisfy it to a certain point for each other. And of course, their own children and families, that's the greatest thing in the world, because they all help us to satisfy our longing to belong. So all of you are here today as friends and relatives, and we're all one family, so we're happy to be together. And in many ways, when we meet each other, say hello to each other, we're also, in a certain way, satisfying that longing we all have to belong. So now we're going to have the marriage ceremony. One of the things that Mary Ann and Tom want to do, and it's going to be their first act as a married couple, they want to give the Eucharist to the congregation. So they're going to be standing down there with the bread, the body of Christ, and they're going to be distributing that to the congregation. So that's going to be their first act as a married couple. What a beautiful way to start. So now we're going to have the actual ceremony.